Well, all right, fam, we back at it again. Today, we're going to be working on a Jeep JKU. We're going to be dealing with a very serious issue with the Jeep. It does have the death wobble. If you guys are familiar with the death wobble, you know it's really serious, and we want to go ahead and address this problem before it becomes a bigger issue. So we're going to jump in the Jeep, take it for a test drive so I can show you guys what we're looking at. And then hopefully we can figure out what's wrong and get it fixed. So let's jump in the Jeep right now and see if we can replicate the issue. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and see if we can't get this Jeep to do the death wobble so I can show you what's going on. I got a 360 camera set up outside of the Jeep, so we'll take a look at it from the outside, and then I'm gonna show you what's happening on the steering wheel as the death wobble occurs. It's pretty off-putting and very dangerous, so we want to go ahead and get this addressed. So let me show you what's going on. So every day going to work, I experience it going over this overpass, so I'm going to see if I could get it to do it again right now so you guys can see what's going on the steering wheel as well as outside of the vehicle. So let's see if we could get it to happen. But you can see the steering wheel shake back and forth violently. Unfortunately, we came to a red light, so we can't really continue with the shake. I want to really show you what it did if you kept driving with it doing a death wobble. So let me see if I can find another spot so I can show you again with a little more shake to the wheel. So I just didn't have enough room there to keep driving through it so you guys could really see it getting out of control. So let me find another bump and I'll show you this again. And then again, you could take a look at what's happening from the outside through the 360 camera, so I'll show you that as well. So let me find another bump to go over. Let's see here on this next bump. There you go. You can see the wheel just start shaking rapidly. So yeah, I'm glad I could duplicate that for you guys. Take a look at what's happening from the outside. All right, fam, so we're back at the house. We're gonna go ahead and start breaking down this front end. We'll shake it down too, just to make sure if we can determine what's loose in there causing this death wobble. I'm thinking it's the ball joints, and I do have some new ball joints, and we'll go over that here in just a moment. However, I'm gonna get it up in the air and start shaking it down to test the ball joints to see if they feel loose. In any case, I'm going to go ahead and take the wheels tires off, take the ball joints out and replace them. I will show you the ball joints I got. We'll go over that in just a minute. But once we get the ball joints put on, we'll take it for a test drive to see if it alleviates the problem. So that way you guys know what's truly causing the death wobble. I have a lot of other components like a steering stabilizer and some tie rod ends and a tie rod. But I'm not gonna put those on just yet because again, I wanna try to determine the root cause so you guys know exactly what needs to be replaced when you get the death wobble. So let me get right to it. I'm gonna speed up the film so you guys don't have to sit through me taking it apart because this isn't a tutorial on necessarily how to do it, but we're just trying to determine the root cause so you guys know where to start if you have this problem. So I'm gonna bring you guys in real quick so you can see what's going on. I do have loose lower ball joints. So this is where I like to do it. I've been doing it this way for a while, so it works for me. But I use a big pry bar, and it's about 4 foot, something around there. And then I just create pressure on the tire to move the ball joint in and out. And I put my hand on it so I can feel it. So I'm gonna just pry in here on the side of the tire, and I could feel it through the tire with my left hand. So I'm just prying again up against the tire, and I can feel a looseness to the lower ball joint. So I check the top ones. They don't seem to be too bad, but the bottom ones definitely have some kind of movement to them. I don't know if y'all can see that. Hopefully y'all can see. But you're looking at here on the steering knuckle, and then the end of the front axle shaft here where the ball joints mount. You're just seeing a deflection there, a difference between the two. And you can kind of hear it if you listen. But you see a slight deflection in here between these two parts. And that ball joint there is moving. It's pretty apparent here. I don't know if y'all can hear it, but I can hear it even. And it's that way on both sides. So we're gonna go ahead and put you guys back up on the tripod, and I'm gonna start taking the tires and wheels off and pull the shafts out and get those ball joints out of there. So, all right, so I brought you guys in here. We're gonna go ahead and start taking this apart. I need to get the rotor off, so I'm gonna take the wheel spacer out of the way. We'll peel the calipers off, disconnect probably the tie rod and tie rod ends. I may or may not do that. I might just let it hang off to the side. We'll see. But I need to get the axle out so I get to the bolts and back in order to release the axle from the hub. So let me just jump to taking this wheel spacer out of the way. All right, fam, so we got the Deviate Off-Road. These are the Jeep JK Heavy Duty Dana 30 and 44 ball joint kit. These are a chromoly steel ball joint. So they should be a little better for the trail and then keep us from getting that death wobble, hopefully. But we get the uppers and the lowers. You can see they're kind of anodized in this green. They look pretty cool. And this one will be the upper. The bigger one's the upper, remember? So we'll go ahead and put these in and see if it cures our death wobble. But I'm super excited about this. It looks like they're etched here too. It says Deviate here on the collar. That's pretty cool, attention to detail, and they look pretty sick. So let's go ahead and throw these in. Again, it's the Deviate Off-Road ball joint kit. So go ahead and check that out. I got this, I believe, off of Extreme Terrain. That's the Deviate Off-Road JK 30 and 44, Dana 30 and 44 ball joint kit. So we're gonna go ahead and slap that in now. All right, so let me just clean this up real quick. I'm just wiping it off with like a rag. I'm not doing anything else than that, but I'm just gonna wipe it up, pop these in real quick. I'm gonna press it in so Deviate faces out forward. That's just my own attention to detail I like to do, just so I can see it. Yeah, not a big deal. But anyways, we're gonna press this in. I'm gonna take my first sleeve that fits it pretty good here. I'm gonna take my cone with the big hole. It's gonna go over the top of the ball joint, just like that. And I'm gonna put it in here. And I'm going to press it all together using my press. I'll grab another cone here to press against, so I'm not pressing against the ball joint itself on the top. All right, fam. So let me bring you in real quick. We went ahead and replaced the upper ball joint and the lower ball joint. So now we're gonna go over to the other side and we're going to do the same thing on this side. Now I'm not going to really go through it with you guys. I'm just gonna go ahead so I can knock it out before the sun goes down. All right, fam, we finally got it done. We got the new DV8 ball joints in the front of the JK Rubiclone Wrangler. So before we go take this thing on a test drive, I want to show you a couple things we got for the Jeep. 4 Wheel Parts was having a sale, 70 to 90% off on some of their parts. So let's just go right to it, show you what I got. I got the 2.5 8-inch shocks for the rear, double adjustable Fox. These things are sick. I cannot wait to put these on. These are the factory race series. These things are normally a lot of money. They're something I would normally never buy, but again, they were about 90% off, so sweet deal on that. Can't wait to get those on. Now, we couldn't get the front ones on sale. They just didn't have any more, so we had to get a mismatched pair for the front. So we're gonna run the Rubicon Express on the front. Now, they do have a remote reservoir as well. You can see that there. And they are single adjustable. So that will work just fine for the front. Again, these are something I would normally probably never get, but since they were on sale, we're gonna rock them. Fox in the rear, Rubicon Express in the front. And we also got a Smittybilt rear bumper to replace our cheap Amazon bumper that's on the back of the Wrangler now. And we got a DV8 roof rack there. I'm not gonna take everything out. Obviously, that's gonna be a different video, but we got more videos coming in the future for the Wrangler. Another thing, I got a video coming out here on the Camaro. We finally put the hood on the Camaro. It looks dope with the hood on, right? So that video is coming out, look out for that. But before we run out of the sunlight, we're gonna go ahead and take the Rubicon on a test drive to see if we went ahead and fixed that death wobble. All right, fam, so we're gonna head over the overpass again, the one that we always get the death wobble on, and we're gonna see if the steering wheel shakes. Hopefully you guys can see the steering wheel, but we're gonna go over this bump now. No death wobble whatsoever. Steering wheel is totally under control. Problem solved. I am super happy about getting this death wobble solved. I was really worried about it, especially driving around with the family in the car and having that wheel just go completely out of control and then having to stop the vehicle just to get it back in order. That was embarrassing and also just very dangerous. So I'm glad I was able to solve it by replacing the ball joints. I would have to say at this time, if you do have the death wobble, I would start first with the ball joints over anything else. I think if you do anything else, a steering stabilizer, tie rod ends, any of that stuff, you're just putting a Band-Aid on it. It may lessen the wobble, but I think it really comes down to having loose ball joints. So I would definitely recommend the DV8 ball joints in solving the death wobble problem. They worked out perfect for me. So we'll go ahead and head back to the shop so we can end this video. So I'll see you guys there. Well, all right, fam, as you can see, we went ahead and fixed the death wobble on the JK. It drives perfect, no more death wobble going over bumps. So I'm super, super pumped about that. I'm glad to get that solved with the new DV8 ball joint. So go ahead and check those out if you have that problem. I say 100% without a doubt, it's always going to be the ball joint. If you replace anything else, even if it fixes it, it's just a Band-Aid. Steering stabilizer, tie rod ends, drag link, any of those things are not your problem. I'm going to say 100% without a doubt, it's the ball joint. So that's where I would start. So we're going to go ahead and end the video on the Jeep. Again, keep an eye out for the new videos. We got some parts going on the Jeep later. Again, we have also the video coming out for the Camaro. I just installed the hood and built a new hood release so I can retain the factory hood release position on it. And then, as you may notice, if you're a long-time follower, the Audi is not here anymore, right? So we got a video for the Audi coming up right after this video. That's the next video to drop. So go ahead and keep your eye out for that. All you Audi people that were waiting for it, finally going to drop an Audi video for you. But at this time, I'm going to thank you guys for watching, especially if you watched all the way to the end. And if you like what you saw today, go ahead and smash that like button. And if you're new to the channel, go ahead and consider subscribing. Hit that post notification bell to be notified my next episode, because I do drop bangers all the time. Until next time, stay good, family. Peace.